Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That is Jack. I am Conrad. This is the 45 Match Week 38 Championship Sunday, even though the championship in the Premier League has already been decided. We do have the final spots, 2 spots up for grabs in the Champions League, the spot for the Europa League, and the newly formed Europa Conference money grab. Everybody else that can't get into those other 2 leagues that wants money and something else to put on TV that'll be mediocre at best league spot is left to decide. Plus the middle and wherever Arsenal end up.
They got to find more days of the week at this point because you got Tuesday,
Bigger
Wednesday
planet
for
is what we
Champions
need.
League.
Bigger planet.
I think also what would be fantastic is, or not fantastic, what they may do is Champions League Tuesday, Europa League Wednesday, Europa Conference League Thursday, and then like multiple hours of the day. So it's like from 10 a.m. in America to like 3 p.m. in America. Like you just have matches just happening. That'd be kind of nice, but it's just
Money
confusing.
grab.
It's just confusing.
Arsenal has a shot at. I don't think they have a shot at the Europa Conference League, right? They're at 58 points. I guess they could get up to, if Spurs lose, Everton lose, they could get up into that 7th spot. I don't know what they're playing for. They're on a good spin. They've won 4 in a row. Brighton coming off the big win, obviously against a 10-man City. Really not anything to play for. They were focused more on the Champions League final. But I don't see Arsenal losing this. They've got to win and keep on moving. It sounds like Ceballos is moving on. They're not going to sign him after the 2-year. So they're already making changes heading into next year.
I mean, Brighton, if you look at them, they could at most go up and pass 3 teams. They could go into 13th place from 16th to 13th. That's a pretty big difference. And in terms of prize money as well, that's not a small amount of money.
Yeah.
Because I believe it's the international TV deals get split up based on your placement. So going up by 3 places, depending on the results ahead of you, is a big deal. So they won't be playing. They won't be just not showing up. Obviously, Arsenal, they have a lot more to play for. European qualification. They rely on results elsewhere. But I mean, Everton and Spurs matches. We'll talk about those in a little bit. They're tough matches elsewhere. So you're at home. They need to win this. I mean, making the conference.
To see what the fans do here. What are the fans going to do here?
Yes, if there had been fans all year and they were in 9th place, I don't think Arteta would be in a job right now. So I'm interested if the fans coming back might be a kick in the pants. Maybe they have a good result. At least they end on a win. I mean, if they ended with 5 wins in a row, maybe that's just going to save Arteta his job and show enough reason for him to stick around. But must win for Arsenal. But knowing them this year and recent years, Brighton may just snatch a draw or the win.
I mean, they've beaten Toon, West Brom, Chelsea 1-0, good win, and then Palace. Not a great 4, but 4 is 4. It is good to end on an uptick for sure. Villa and Chelsea. This one obviously has some importance. Chelsea pretty much assured of that Champions League spot. They get the 3 points here. They're locked in at 70. Nobody can get higher than them. They've got that 3rd spot locked up. Villa are going to want to do something. They're sitting there. Where are they right now? They're in that 11th spot. Can they get up into the top half? They cannot.
Can't go up, can't go down.
So, yeah, they're just kind of, they are where they are. They're at the 11th spot. Not bad considering last day of the season, they confirmed that they were staying in the league for another season. Yeah. Great performance by them, especially the last third of the season without Jack Grealish.
Yeah, they'll be happy that it's a moment in late May. You don't have to worry about your survival or qualification yet. So this is a positive for them to be comfortable mid-table in the Premier League. We had them low, almost near relegation. Did either of us have them getting relegated? I don't think so.
No.
We'll look back on our predictions and look back on them.
Terrible.
Spurs in 3rd. I just have nightmares of saying that.
I had them in 6th, and that was generous, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, they still could get there. They just got to hope that West Ham lose. This is a really fascinating one because Chelsea have everything to play for. Champions League qualification, ease the tension for that final Champions League match against Manchester City. And Villa have nothing to play for. So by all accounts, it should be a walk in the park for Chelsea. But Villa fans will be back. They'll be able to celebrate one of the best teams they've had in recent years, a team that's given them comfort on this time of the year. So very realistically, they could reward them with the team could reward their fans with a last home victory to celebrate a very good 2020-2021. That being said, I think Chelsea win this. I think they assure themselves 3rd place might be a good match, but I think Chelsea just get
Make
the
it a
business
draw
done.
just for fun.
That would be fascinating because then it would rely on if Leicester and Liverpool win, then Chelsea are bounced.
They're out.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, 68 points. Fulham, Newcastle. Fulham obviously already relegated, so playing for pride at this point. They're winless over the last 5, 3 losses, bookended by 2 draws. Newcastle have been playing a little bit better of late. They've beaten Sheffield United. They had the 7-goal thriller against City where they came up on the odd side of that one, the wrong end. The win over Leicester and the loss to Newcastle. So they've just been like this the last few games. But, again, they can move up ahead of a couple of teams. If Palace and Southampton lose, they can draw level. And if Wolves lose, they draw level on points. I don't think they can catch them on goal difference unless they really put a few past Fulham here.
And you have to rely on Wolves dropping a few as well. Again, pride for both these sides. It's a bit of a sad one for Fulham fans because you're finally back at the park, but you know that this is your last Premier League match for at least 12 months. So not going to be the happiest sight there. May not be the prettiest match. Is going to be the last match for Steve Bruce at Newcastle. It's Newcastle just they tire me how inconsistent they are. Like they can show up one day, have a really solid 1-1 draw with Liverpool, let 4 go past them against Manchester City. Joseph Willock, has been doing tremendously. He scored 6 straight matches for them. He's on loan. I don't think they're able to keep him from going back to Arsenal, but he's been a good performer for them. They're happy that this wasn't a scary match because there was a few weeks back, this looked like it could have been a relegation decider. A 6-pointer to end the season. Would Fulham go up or stay up? Would Newcastle go down? They've avoided that. So I won't be watching this one personally, but for those of you that do, I hope you enjoy the match.
Leeds, West Brom. Big Sam saying he is not returning to West Brom as they drop to the Championship and look to fight again to get into the Premier League. Leeds are solid. Like they've had a good season. They could leapfrog some teams here, right? They've got 3 consecutive wins, sitting on 56 points right there in 10th. If things go their way, they could find themselves in a European spot, right? If Spurs lose, if Everton lose, if Arsenal all lose.
The issue there is Spurs goal difference is 21 plus. Leeds is plus 6. So you'd have to really thump.
Would it surprise you? Would it surprise you at this point what the way Leeds play?
I mean, Leicester Spurs is the next one we're talking about. If Leeds put 9 past West Brom, then a 6-0 loss for Spurs on the final day of the season to get passed by Leeds United would not be
also wouldn't surprise me. No, because the way they're playing, who the hell knows what teams are going to show up.
This is Leeds have conceded 53 goals, which is there is only a few teams in literally Fulham, who got relegated, conceded less than them so far. They conceded a lot of goals, and this is where it's kind of biting them in the butt because there was an outside chance they could have passed 3 teams for a European spot if they had maybe 10 better goal difference. But easier said than done. If you had 10 better goal difference, you probably have half a dozen more points easily there. So that's just the simplest logic ever. Just win more games, duh. And then you have more points, duh, and you qualify.
Give up fewer goals.
It's the Michael Owen logic.
But it is out of the realm of possibility. But
honestly, I don't even know what to say. It'd be absolutely unbelievable if Leeds managed to pass Arsenal, Everton, and Spurs. That would be genuinely crazier than Leicester winning the title. Maybe not crazier than that, but
but Leicester were fantastic for the entire season. Look, Leeds are fun to watch. They've had a fantastic season. Again, first year up, tremendous performance by them. Here's
top half.
Hoping they can go out on a high note in front of their fans for the first time in the Premier League in 16 years, something like that. It's gonna Ellen Road. This might be a second screener, I think, or a third screener. Is an interesting match. To see the atmosphere.
Bit bold there. I don't know if I would say third screener, but you do you.
Leicester Spurs. Leicester need the 3 here to get to above Liverpool, but then they need to outscore Liverpool. Liverpool have a +4 goal difference on them. Liverpool win. Leicester City need to put a ton past Spurs. We talked about, can they win 6-0 here? Absolutely. We don't know what Spurs team is going to show up. They've been unbelievably inconsistent. Ryan Mason playing out the string, probably not going to be the manager there next year. Spurs are a complete and total mess. No Harry Kane. Who knows what's going to happen? Leicester, I think they're going to get this, and they're going to put pressure on I'm not going to put pressure on anybody, right? Because these happen all at the same time, so you don't really know what's going on anywhere else other than what's happening with the fans in the stands.
Yeah.
But
It's tough, this one. I think I really don't know which Spurs is going to show up. Is there no Harry Kane for Spurs? I didn't know if that was a confirmed thing.
I think he's gonna play. He's just out. He wants out next
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. He definitely wants out. They need this win because you can still pass West Ham into sixth, which will, I think that's Europa League. I think seventh is Conference League. I may be wrong. You don't. I mean, convincing Harry Kane to stay for Europa League is tough. Convincing him to stay for Conference League, even tough. And if you get passed by having a defeat here and you're no Europe at all, then I mean, you may have to say goodbye to Harry Kane to get the
it's
necessary.
a rebuild at that point.
Yeah, you say goodbye to Harry Kane, maybe even to Heung-min Son, and then you say, all right, we're going to fill some holes in this squad with some young players, a new manager. I remember I saw Pierre-Emile Højbjerg said that they wanted an ambitious manager as their next manager. And I was like, what is Jose Mourinho if not ambitious? Like,
but he's not that was an ego hire. That was a terrible hire for them.
it was a bad hire, but to sack Mourinho a week before a cup final.
Timing was terrible. I'm not gonna. But I think it was the relationship was broken.
Yeah,
I think they were on a verge of a mutiny. Was my guess.
It's entirely
you don't make
fair.
that move unless it's truly terrible.
Yeah, it's entirely fair for him to be gone. But Leicester, I think it's gonna be a draw. Actually, this one. I think Spurs are gonna offer themselves a better goal difference than Arsenal and force them to outscore them by 7 to pass them and make St. Totteringham's Day happen again. Which, actually, you know what? If St. Totteringham's Day happens again, happens this year, considering how bad Arsenal have been, that might be cause for a parade for Arsenal, man. Like that would be an incredible achievement. I think a draw is gonna happen in this one, though.
Boy, does Arsenal miss Arsene Wenger. Liverpool Palace. Good news for Liverpool is this is at Anfield, not Selhurst Park, where the last time they played late in the season with stuff on the line, it didn't go all that well for them. Again, we talked a little bit about inconsistency. Liverpool need the 3 points to secure that third spot and then just outscore Crystal Palace as much as they can, just to put some distance between themselves and Leicester, and potentially leapfrog Chelsea if they do draw. So it's an interesting – those 3 matches are the most interesting to me of what's going to happen for that top 4. You just don't know what is going to happen with Liverpool because they've been so up and down. Playing a little bit better of late. They've just been so inconsistent with scoring. They've got the 2-0 over Southampton, the 4-2 over United, the 2-1 over West Brom, and the 3-0 over Burnley. So 4 on the spin. Again, 5 in a row to finish out the season and make you feel pretty good and hopefully getting some defensive help coming back next year.
Yeah, the 3-0 against Burnley felt like a small return to the Liverpool of their title-winning season, where they were still a bit shakier at the back than they were in the title-winning season. That's because you have, like, literally your 6th and 7th choice center backs back there.
But Nat Phillips played out of his mind.
He played out of his mind.
Great interview afterwards.
Yeah, I think he's a really interesting dilemma for Liverpool going into the summer. Do you keep him? Do you move him on for some money to maybe bring in a Konate, bring Kabak back? It may be a case if you have to choose between Phillips, you sell him off and you bring in Kabak, or you keep Phillips and you say, sorry, Kabak. Which it's a testament to him because when Kabak was brought in on the loan with the £18 million option to buy, it seemed like a no-brainer at that point. Like 20-year-old, turning 21-year-old, great center back, a lot of potential. But Nat Phillips has been playing out of his mind. So I think I would personally take Kabak, but that's obviously a discussion you have if you get in the Champions League. You have more money to have, and you need to win here. I'd be stunned if Liverpool dropped the points here. You had the emotions after the Alisson winner against West Brom. You have fans finally back. Maybe you have Diogo Jota.
Full cop. I think they're going to put everybody in the cop.
Yeah, there's just so much going right for Liverpool right now. Like, common sense from this season would tell you it's going to go horribly wrong in this match. But I feel like
they're going to win. Palace are going to come out and win one for Roy Hodgson on his way out.
And they can only pass one side. They can fall behind a few, yes. But I think Liverpool, the fans, like people say about the 6 home losses in a row. There were no fans there. There's no fans at Anfield. That doesn't make it the atmosphere it usually is. It's an unbelievable atmosphere. And the fans being back is going to be a huge, huge change. So I imagine Liverpool will win this comfortably. And unless Leicester can absolutely stun Spurs and stun me, I think they'll be in the top 4 next season, which would be, I mean, obviously it hasn't happened yet, but it would be a remarkable achievement for them to get top 4, considering the injuries they've had and the horrible run they had between January and March.
Man City and Everton. City probably going to play through this one fairly calmly. I don't know that they're going to – obviously they're focused on the Champions League final against Chelsea. Everton, again, they can jump up a spot or two. Again, they've been inconsistent. Win, loss, draw, win, loss, draw kind of throughout the course of the season. The 1-0 over Wolves, a good result for them. Obviously, City coming off of the 3-2 10-man loss against Brighton that we spoke of earlier. I don't think they're going to – yeah, pride is going to have them want to play. Obviously, they're at home, heading off to the Champions League final. I think it's going to be a boring game. Yeah. Or City's just going to thrash Everton.
I think it's just going to be a 1-2-0 win for Everton. Honestly, I think Man City and their fans will be like, "Cool, I don't care that we're seeing what is it? Scott Carson, was he the goalie who made his first appearance in like 10 years? They're probably going to see him again because they realize that in 7 days is when the Champions League final
29th.
is. Yeah. So it'll be 6 days after this match on Sunday. They have probably the biggest match in their club's history, except for maybe the one against QPR in 2012. And so they'll say that, yeah, it's fine if you rest almost everybody to make sure that there's no injuries picked up, no fitness issues heading into that final. They'll probably lose. I don't think they'll care. At worst, they win the title by 9 points instead of 12. Big whoop. You're still Premier League champions. You'll still lift the trophy at the end of the day. I expect if Everton don't win this, it's just they need to win it. Like if they want a chance at Europe, if they want the season to actually be a serious improvement on the last few, they need to win this match, put the pressure on Spurs, and avoid being passed by Arsenal, and try and make it into the top four, or excuse me, into the top 7, which would give you a European place. So, can they do it? I have no idea. And they rely on results elsewhere. They should do it. Then again, this is Everton Football Club we're talking about, so expect the unexpected.
Sheffield United, Burnley. Sheffield United fans will be in the stands, obviously, to bid adieu to the Premier League. Burnley coming off the 3-0 loss to Liverpool. Sheffield United rooted bottom with 20 points. Look to just save pride here coming off of the 1-0 loss to Newcastle. Again, not going to be one that I would tune into, but Burnley are always an interesting club. With I don't know what to do with this one. 3-0 Burnley.
For me, it's going to be a case of Sheffield United remember what they lost and the reason they got relegated mostly. Is the fans were such a huge importance to this team, and the atmosphere was such a huge importance to why they were able to be so successful last season with their formation, with their tactics, with their club.
With Chris Wilder.
Chris Wilder, he was another big reason why. So it'll be their first match seeing the club without Chris Wilder. It'll be the first time seeing them in a while, and they'll be unfortunately going back down to the championship. So it's going to be a bit of a sad one, honestly. And they're playing Burnley, so it's not like there's even going to be a side who's like going to come out and try and make it open and fair. I think it's going to be an ugly match. I think Sheffield United might win just for pride's sake. Some players might say, "Here's why I should stick around." But yeah, I don't. There's not a ton to say about it. You have a relegated side in Burnley. It's always going to be a bit of a dull affair. So not too much to say about it. It's just hopefully it's a positive send off to a negative season, that they remember that at the end of the day you'll start anew next season. We can go back to the Premier League with a good performance next year with the fans hopefully in full voice next year.
I hope for Sheffield United just simply because just to give to your point, give the fans something to remember and bounce back hopefully pretty quickly. West Ham United, home to Southampton. West Ham had a shot at those Champions League spots, just kind of not doing enough down the end. The loss to Everton was hurtful. The draw with Brighton, not so good. Obviously, then the bigger scoreline against West Brom, not enough at that point. Can they get there? No, they cannot. But again, I think they can stay in the European spots, which is important. Southampton, they have underperformed, I think, this year. They had so many injuries, right? That's been the story for a lot of different clubs. I think they were among the worst in terms of the damage that it did to their season, sitting on 43 points. They can jump a couple of teams if things go their way and get up into that 12th spot potentially, but I look at this one to go West Ham's way because they need the European spot.
Yeah, I mean, you think back to when this side was saying stop the count on Twitter when they were top of the league. Now they're 14th. It's kind of crazy their fall off. Same with West Ham when they were as high as third, I believe, right? So these are two sides who may look at the season a bit bittersweet. Like, it was a good season in a lot of ways, a lot of good memories. For West Ham, you're like a piano on top of a house. Like, how did I get here? Why am I so high up? I think this is going to be an important one for West Ham. Just secure sixth place, man. I believe that's Europa League. I should have made sure which spot was which. Guarantee yourself European football. Don't leave this season without European football by getting passed by Spurs and Everton. That would just be a devastating development. So I think just you're back at home. It's been a notoriously tough place to play. I think they were one of the sides who benefited more than anyone else from having no fans this season. Now they've proven we can get the results. Now the fans are back, and they're like, all right, guys, we can do this. Don't be too mad at us when we don't do it occasionally. I think they'll win. I think they'll have a good positive end of the year, finish in sixth place. And, yeah, you could look at it as half glass full or glass half full, glass half empty, half glass. Yeah, a lot of words.
Positive one. The optimist says glass half full. The
Yes.
pessimist says glass half empty.
You could say, man, we were in top four and we lost that because of injuries to Rice and to other issues. Or you could say, man, we finished in sixth place. We got into the Europa League. I would be more inclined to believe in the positivity message, where like, yeah, it's pretty cool. We got.
It's a great season for West Ham,
Yeah.
especially since one of us had them getting relegated this year, and he's all over there. Wolves, Man United. I think United are going to win this. Wolves, inconsistent scoring. We've talked about this. Jimenez with that horrific injury. Looks like he will be good to return next season. I don't think he's going to be in this game. I haven't looked at it lately, but he's been training with the team, which has been good. But United, look, they're sitting second, and you can't really say they've had a great season because they've been so terrible at Old Trafford, and that's so much of the anger towards that ownership group the last 8 matches since that European Super League thing, and just there's been so much animosity directed towards the Glazers. Maybe because of that, it's at the Molyneux in front of fans. Wolves can sneak one because they need it. You know, they can move up significantly. Actually, no, they can't. Yeah, they're another one that's stuck in their spot regardless of whether they win or lose. They just don't want to get past.
Yeah. You know what's funny is we talk about how bad Man United's home form is, but like they're fourth in the home form table. Like, I mean, I think that's just indicative that so many teams were just worse at home than they were away because there were no fans. Anyways, I'm getting away from the point. Last match.
They're great on the road, though. So.
Yeah, they are second in terms of the road form. Last match for Nuno Espirito Santo at Wolves. So it'll definitely be an emotional one for them because he's done so much for the club. This year, not the best one. The style of football was pretty ugly. He's just raised the standards of the club, though. For him to walk away and say, we finished 12th, maybe a bit lower, but we finished lower mid-table, and say, that's a bad finish, we should have been doing better, is just a testament to how great a manager he was for that club, to raise the standards, to raise the quality in the side. And it's just an excellent season overall. For Man United, I don't know how to look back on this one. One win in their last 5 in the Premier League. Like, I know that they've secured second place and they're not in a title race anymore, and they're kind of looking ahead to their Europa League final in a few days' time, on Wednesday, I believe it is. But still, I mean, I would have liked to see a better finish to the season instead of the whimper that it kind of was. So it's I don't really know what to expect. I think Wolves might actually take this one because it's going to be Nuno's last match. The fans will be back. They may just secure that 12th place spot, and Man United may just kind of exit the Premier League with a whimper and hopefully get Maguire back against all I can think of is Villanova, but it's not. It's Villarreal.
Villarreal.
Yeah, Villarreal in the Europa League final. And if you
Big East basketball.
Look, if you get a win in the Europa League final, you win the Europa League, and you finish second in the Premier League. There's a lot of other factors that could make you think this is a bad year, but that's a good year if you have those kinds of end results. The means weren't great, but the ends would be pretty good.
I'm just sad that Nuno is leaving because that beard just deserves a place on the sidelines and the Premier League. He's been such a good. We've been, secret, not so secret. We've loved to watch Wolves play. We've loved Nuno. It's so sad that he's leaving.
It's the right time.
Don't know why. Is it finances? There's all kinds of speculation in terms of what the rationale is. But if he could end up at Spurs, that would be really.
They're not really looking at him reportedly, but I liken his departure a lot to when Pochettino was sacked from Spurs, when it was kind of you can only push a group so far for so long. They need to hear a new voice at some point. Like either you refresh the squad, with new transfers, or you get a new voice in. And I think Wolves aren't in a position to upheave the squad. And I think just a fresh voice might be good for them. Is it a case of the grass isn't always greener? Very possible. But I think this is probably a smart move. Hopefully Nuno goes on to Nuno. I don't know where the tilde goes. But hopefully he goes on to have success at his next club, because he's done some really great things at Wolves, and set a great foundation for them to continue to improve.
Yeah, I think he's ready for the next step up. Is he ready for something like a Spurs? I think so. I think he would be fantastic at Spurs. I would love to see him there, just to see what he could do with the talent there.
Yeah.
But to your point, it doesn't sound like that's going to happen.
Yeah.
That'll do it for Championship Sunday. Really excited to see who qualifies for the Europa Conference League spot and see how exciting that conference is next year. Jack, Conrad, Footy5. Please like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. Look for us on the Twitter at the Footy5. Take care now.